The targeted attack on Russian General Kirillov in Moscow has sparked serious concerns within the Kremlin about the safety of its senior leadership, particularly President Vladimir Putin. Following the general's death in a precise bombing, intelligence reports indicate that Putin has altered his daily routines and personal security protocols, reflecting growing unease over potential threats. The ongoing developments in the Russia-Ukraine conflict have not only challenged the Russian military's ability to maintain control but also raised critical questions about the safety of its leaders amid increasingly sophisticated tactics. Recent developments have intensified Vladimir Putin's security concerns, with Russian government data showing unprecedented spending on his protection. Indeed, between January and May, expenditure on Putin's security reached 15 billion rubles, representing 77% of the annual budget allocation. The Presidential Security Service has significantly enhanced the measures in place to ensure Vladimir Putin's safety, adopting an extensive and multi-layered approach. These precautions reflect a heightened focus on eliminating potential risks and maintaining his security under all circumstances. Among the various measures, Putin is now accompanied by personal chefs who travel with him to prepare his meals, thereby reducing the possibility of tampering or contamination. To complement this, specialized officers are tasked with testing every dish before it is served to them. Using portable laboratories, these officers meticulously analyze the food to ensure its safety. Additionally, Putin's bodyguards are equipped with innovative defensive tools, including bulletproof briefcases that provide both protection and concealment for Straw 1-vector pistols, a weapon favored for its reliability and effectiveness. During public appearances, his security detail is further augmented by snipers strategically positioned on rooftops, offering an elevated layer of protection against potential threats. These comprehensive measures underscore the lengths to which the Presidential Security Service goes to safeguard Putin, reflecting the critical importance placed on his security in increasingly complex and unpredictable environments. Putin's daily routines have undergone significant modifications. Furthermore, his isolation has increased markedly, with the president avoiding mobile phones and internet usage. Additionally, he frequently employs deception tactics about his whereabouts, often claiming to be in one location when present in another. The Russian leader's travel arrangements have also evolved dramatically. Rather than using aircraft, he now prefers an armored train for transportation. Moreover, his residences feature replicas of his Kremlin office, enabling him to maintain appearances during video conferences. Vladimir Putin's public appearances have evolved into tightly controlled and meticulously orchestrated events, reflecting the Russian president's heightened focus on personal security. One striking example of this increased vigilance was evident during the 2023 Victory Day parade, a highly symbolic occasion attended by dignitaries and the public. During the event, Putin reportedly wore concealed body armor beneath his coat, an emblem of the extreme caution exercised to protect him from potential threats. The preparations for such events are exhaustive and involve a lot of security protocols. Red Square, the iconic venue for the parade, is typically closed to the public weeks in advance, allowing security personnel ample time to establish and test comprehensive safeguards. Attendees are subjected to rigorous background checks, ensuring that only non-threatening individuals can access the event. Those who pass these screenings are subjected to thorough personal inspections upon arrival, minimizing the risk of concealed weapons or unauthorized items. On the day of the event, visible security is heavily fortified, with approximately 24 guards stationed strategically to monitor and respond to any anomalies. These personnel are just the visible component of a much larger, integrated system of surveillance and defense, which likely includes undercover operatives and advanced technologies. The intensification of Putin's security measures aligns with growing concerns about his safety, particularly following recent drone attacks on Moscow. Such incidents have amplified the president's security paranoia, prompting an even greater reliance on protective protocols. Unlike some world leaders who push back against heightened security measures, Putin has demonstrated a willingness to accept and implement expanded safety perimeters whenever his security team deems them necessary. This readiness to cooperate underscores his pragmatic approach to addressing potential vulnerabilities, even at the expense of accessibility and spontaneity during public engagements. These elaborate precautions reflect not only the unique challenges of safeguarding a figure as prominent as Putin but also the shifting dynamics of security in a world increasingly fraught with unconventional threats. Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov met a violent end outside his Moscow residence through a precisely orchestrated bombing. The incident occurred at 6:12 a.m. on a Tuesday, as the general and his aide exited their apartment building. The assassination was a meticulously planned and expertly executed operation, underscoring the high level of sophistication involved. At the heart of the attack was an explosive device ingeniously concealed within an electric scooter, which had been strategically parked near the entrance of the targeted building. The placement ensured that the detonation would inflict maximum damage while remaining inconspicuous until the moment of the explosion. The bomb itself was a formidable weapon, with an explosive force equivalent to 300 grams of TNT. This power translated into a devastating blast that wreaked havoc in the immediate vicinity. The explosion was so forceful that it caused extensive damage to the building, shattering windows up to the third floor and leaving behind a stark reminder of the destructive potential of such devices. The impact extended beyond the targeted structure, as glass was blown out of buildings located across the street, highlighting the significant radius of destruction caused by the blast. The sheer magnitude of the explosion and the precision of its placement suggest a deliberate effort to maximize both physical damage and psychological impact. The incident not only underscored the attackers' technical capabilities, but also their intent to create a powerful statement through the scale of destruction. The planning and execution of the attack demonstrate an unsettling level of expertise, further emphasizing the challenges faced in preventing such meticulously orchestrated acts of violence. Initially, Ukraine's security service confirmed its involvement in the operation, and SPU officials speaking under anonymity protocols designated Kirillov as a legitimate target. Subsequently, the timing proved significant as the assassination occurred precisely one day after Ukraine's security service filed criminal charges against Kirillov regarding chemical weapons usage. The Federal Security Service swiftly initiated an investigation in the aftermath of the attack, uncovering a series of critical details that shed light on the perpetrators and the methods employed. The operation was marked by a high degree of coordination and careful planning, involving multiple elements that pointed to a larger, organized effort. At the center of the investigation was the identification of the primary suspect, an individual described as a citizen of Uzbekistan born in 1995. This person was allegedly recruited with promises of significant compensation, including a payment of $100,000 and the opportunity for resettlement in the European Union. These incentives highlight the financial and logistical motivations behind the suspect's involvement, suggesting a carefully orchestrated recruitment strategy designed to exploit vulnerabilities and ensure cooperation. The operation also relied on advanced surveillance techniques. The FSB's findings revealed that the perpetrators utilized a hidden camera installed in a car-sharing vehicle to monitor their target and gather real-time intelligence. This method underscores the sophisticated approach to surveillance, combining modern technology with strategic execution to maximize effectiveness. Furthermore, the investigation traced the coordination of the attack to a control center located in Dnipro. This detail points to a centralized command structure directing the operation from a distance, further emphasizing the level of organization and planning that went into the execution of the plot. The Russian Investigative Committee officially classified the incident as a terrorist act. Accordingly, Dmitry Medvedev, deputy head of Russia's Security Council, promised inevitable retribution against Ukraine's military political leadership. The assassination represents one of the most significant strikes against Russian military leadership since the war's inception. Meanwhile, the incident has prompted enhanced security measures for other senior defense figures, including round-the-clock protection by Special Forces units. The elimination of Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov has created a significant leadership vacuum in Russia's military hierarchy, primarily affecting its specialized warfare capabilities. This crisis represents one of the most severe blows to Russian military leadership since World War II. General Kirillov occupies a pivotal role within Russia's military hierarchy as the head of the country's radioactive, chemical, and biological defense forces, a position he has held since 2017. His appointment to this highly specialized and strategic command underscores the importance Moscow places on maintaining robust capabilities in these critical areas of modern warfare. Kirillov's responsibilities are vast and multifaceted, reflecting the diverse challenges associated with managing and deploying these complex military assets. One of his primary duties is to ensure the protection of Russian troops operating in environments where chemical or nuclear threats are present. This entails developing and overseeing advanced defensive measures, including specialized equipment, protocols, and training programs designed to safeguard personnel and maintain operational readiness in highly hazardous conditions. In addition to his defensive mandate, Kirillov is also tasked with overseeing specialized offensive operations involving chemical and radioactive materials. These operations require meticulous planning and coordination, as they often involve sensitive technologies and carry significant geopolitical and ethical implications. His leadership in this domain highlights the dual-purpose nature of Russia's chemical and nuclear capabilities, serving both as a deterrent and as a potential tool in offensive strategies. Another critical aspect of Kirillov's role is his management of incendiary weapons deployment. These weapons, known for their destructive power and psychological impact, require careful regulation to ensure their effective use while adhering to international conventions and strategic objectives. Kirillov's expertise in this area is vital for aligning the deployment of such weapons with broader military goals. Through his leadership and specialized knowledge, General Kirillov plays an integral role in shaping and implementing Russia's policies and strategies in the realm of radioactive, chemical, and biological defense. His position reflects not only his expertise but also the central importance Moscow assigns to maintaining and advancing its capabilities in these critical and often controversial areas of modern warfare. The loss of such a high-ranking officer has created substantial disruption in military operations. Essentially, the death of a general typically results in the loss of multiple senior officers as they work closely with colonels and majors in command centers. The impact on military effectiveness has been profound and can be analyzed across several critical dimensions, each highlighting the challenges faced by the armed forces in maintaining operational cohesion and readiness. One of the most significant areas affected has been operational planning. The ability to make timely and strategic decisions has experienced considerable delays, undermining the military's capacity to respond swiftly to evolving situations. This disruption in planning processes compromises the precision and coordination required for executing complex operations, especially in dynamic combat environments. Another critical dimension is the flow of information. Communication channels, vital for relaying orders and intelligence, have faced severe disruptions. These interruptions have led to inefficiencies in the transmission of critical data, creating vulnerabilities and increasing the likelihood of missteps during operations. The breakdown in information flow not only hampers real-time decision-making but also erodes trust and cohesion within the ranks. Combat readiness, particularly in specialized operations, has also been adversely impacted. The reduced effectiveness of units trained for niche roles, such as chemical defense or electronic warfare, diminishes the military's overall capability to adapt to and counter diverse threats. This decline in readiness affects the broader strategic balance, limiting the ability to leverage specialized forces effectively. Finally, the command structure has encountered temporary leadership gaps that further exacerbate the challenges. These voids in leadership create uncertainty and hinder the chain of command, resulting in delays in executing orders and maintaining discipline. The absence of experienced commanders during critical moments can lead to a loss of direction, weakening the overall effectiveness of military operations. Together, these issues illustrate the cascading effects of disruptions on military effectiveness. The interplay between delayed planning, disrupted communication, diminished combat readiness, and leadership instability highlights the complexity of maintaining a robust and adaptive force in the face of operational challenges. Filling the void left by General Kirillov poses significant and multifaceted challenges for the Russian military command. The departure of a leader of his expertise and experience leaves a critical gap that cannot be easily bridged, as his role demands a deep understanding of specialized operations and a strategic vision shaped by years of service. Replacing a general of his caliber is a complex undertaking, requiring both time and extensive preparation to ensure a seamless transition and continuity in command. One of the foremost challenges for any incoming commander is establishing strong relationships with subordinates. A leader's ability to earn the trust and respect of their personnel is essential for maintaining morale and cohesion within the ranks. This process involves not only demonstrating competence and authority but also fostering open lines of communication and mutual understanding. For a position as specialized as Kirillov's, where collaboration with highly trained units is crucial, building such relationships becomes even more critical. Equally demanding is the need to quickly grasp the intricate dynamics of battlefield situations. The head of radioactive, chemical, and biological defense forces must be intimately familiar with both the strategic landscape and the technical nuances of their domain. This requires the new commander to swiftly assimilate vast amounts of information, ranging from ongoing operations to the deployment of specialized weaponry and defensive measures. Any delays or missteps in understanding these complexities could jeopardize the effectiveness of the forces under their command. Furthermore, adapting to the existing command structures adds another layer of difficulty. The Russian military operates within a rigid hierarchy, where seamless integration into established protocols and procedures is vital for ensuring operational efficiency. A new commander must navigate these structures adeptly, balancing the implementation of their leadership style with adherence to institutional norms and expectations. The situation is further complicated by the fact that senior Russian officers often possess decades of combat experience across multiple conflicts, henceforth making their expertise irreplaceable in the short term. This leadership crisis occurs at a particularly challenging time, as Russian forces face mounting pressure on various fronts. the loss of experienced military leadership has become increasingly problematic for Russian forces. Ultimately, these casualties have reduced Russia's capacity to plan and execute military operations effectively. American officials, although noting that Kirillov was not a key battlefield commander, acknowledged that his death represents the highest-ranking military casualty inside Russia since the invasion began. In an unprecedented move, Russian President Vladimir Putin publicly acknowledged the failure of his security services regarding General Kirillov's assassination. Speaking at his annual press conference, Putin made a rare admission that exposed significant vulnerabilities in Russia's intelligence apparatus. The assassination highlighted critical gaps in Russia's security infrastructure, primarily affecting high-ranking military officials. The incident occurred despite Russia's extensive surveillance systems and protective measures. Questions arose about security protocols for such prominent figures involved in the Ukraine offensive. In a rare public critique, Vladimir Putin condemned his intelligence agencies, stating, "Our special services are missing these attacks. We must not allow such very serious blunders to happen." This rebuke prompted swift action, including the restructuring of Russian law enforcement, enhanced security protocols for military leadership, and revisions to intelligence gathering procedures. The measures aim to address critical vulnerabilities and prevent future lapses in national security. The aftermath of the assassination has triggered significant changes within Russia's security establishment. A table highlighting key developments. The assassination's aftermath has prompted sweeping changes within Russia's security establishment, reshaping key areas of its operations and leadership. Among the most immediate consequences has been a sudden shift in the Federal Security Service, marked by the unexpected departure of top officials. This leadership shakeup signals a response to perceived failures and aims to restore confidence in the agency's effectiveness. In the realm of military strategy, the incident has raised the possibility of adjustments to Russia's broader war tactics. The need to adapt to evolving threats has likely intensified discussions about revising operational approaches and strengthening both offensive and defensive measures. Internal security has also undergone a significant transformation, with a focus on restructuring protection protocols. These changes reflect heightened concerns over vulnerabilities and an urgent effort to bolster safeguards for key individuals and infrastructure. The incident has altogether raised questions about Russia's internal stability. Dr. Mathers notes, it does raise big questions about how vulnerable, how fragile Russia is. Therefore, the assassination's implications extend beyond immediate security concerns, thus creating broader political repercussions. The attack has essentially threatened the Kremlin's ability to project power, presently raising critical questions. How good is its security if it can't protect someone so senior in the armed forces? What else is wrong there? These concerns have prompted soul-searching within the Kremlin, ultimately leading to a comprehensive review of security measures. The political ramifications have extended to Russia's international standing. Moscow has faced increased scrutiny over its ability to protect high-ranking officials previously considered untouchable. This security breach has exposed vulnerabilities in Putin's power structure, prompting widespread reforms within Russia's intelligence community. Ukraine's military capabilities have undergone remarkable advancement, primarily through technological innovation and strategic development. The country's defense forces now possess sophisticated strike abilities that extend deep into Russian territory. Since 2016, Ukraine's Special Operations Forces have undergone substantial transformation, evolving into a highly specialized and capable branch of the military. The formation of 7 Special Operations Regiments, divided between the Army and Navy, has significantly strengthened Ukraine's elite forces, with a total personnel count of around 2,000. Among their notable achievements, these forces have successfully gained certification as a NATO-compatible special operations unit, allowing for seamless coordination with allied forces. Furthermore, they have integrated into the NATO response force, enhancing their readiness and interoperability on a global scale. The development of advanced guerrilla warfare tactics has bolstered their effectiveness in unconventional combat, while a marked improvement in night operation capabilities has given them a significant edge in low-visibility engagements. These milestones reflect the growing sophistication and readiness of Ukraine's Special Operations Forces, aligning them with international standards and improving their operational efficiency. Ukraine's technical capabilities have seen substantial growth, particularly in the use of unmanned aircraft systems, commonly referred to as UAS, within combined arms operations. Previously focused on this area, the country now operates a range of advanced systems that enhance both reconnaissance and combat effectiveness. Among the key assets is the Bayraktar TB, which is utilized for long-endurance reconnaissance and precision strike missions, providing critical intelligence and striking capabilities. The Switchblade 300, a loitering munition, enables precision strikes with remarkable accuracy, while the Phoenix Ghost system is deployed for long-endurance tactical operations, supporting a range of mission types over extended periods. Additionally, commercial UAVs have been integrated into operations for target identification and improving battlefield awareness, further expanding Ukraine's capabilities in monitoring and responding to enemy movements. Simultaneously, Ukraine has developed advanced software solutions, essentially transforming battlefield management. The Kremlin system enables real-time intelligence mapping and artillery coordination. The integration of Starlink technology has ultimately enhanced communication capabilities, helping overcome Russian jamming attempts. Looking ahead, Ukraine's strike capabilities continue to evolve. The country's domestic drone program has demonstrated considerable long-range capabilities, however, requires extensive investment to reach its full potential. The defense industry has expanded significantly, with more than 200 companies now producing millions of drones annually. The sophistication of Ukraine's operations has increased through the development of AI-driven targeting systems, integration of advanced electronic warfare countermeasures, enhancement of long-range strike capabilities, and implementation of drone swarm technologies. Ukraine's rapidly advancing capabilities pose an increasing challenge to Russian security. The country has successfully conducted strikes at distances exceeding 1,000 kilometers from its border. These operations have demonstrated the ability to overwhelm Russian air defenses, primarily through large-scale coordinated drone attacks. The defense tech advances have significantly impacted Ukraine's war effort. The innovation contest remains constant, requiring continuous creativity and adaptation. As Ukraine's domestic missile program gains momentum, experts suggest that Russia may be surprised by the extent of Ukraine's technological advancement in 2025. The mounting casualties and internal strife within Russia's military ranks have created unprecedented challenges for troop morale. Recent reports indicate that discipline issues continue to plague Russian forces as the war enters its third year. Military command structures face increasing strain as casualties mount. Statistics reveal that Russia has lost more than its entire initial invasion force, with approximately 190,000 troops killed in action. The Russian military has beforehand suffered almost thrice its initial invasion force and troops wounded in action. The impact on leadership effectiveness is evident in several key areas. First, there has been a destabilization of the command structure, which has disrupted the usual flow of authority and decision-making. This has led to significant challenges in operational planning, as delays and uncertainties hinder the ability to execute well-coordinated strategies. Additionally, communication between ranks has broken down, resulting in misalignments and inefficiencies in executing orders. These factors have culminated in delays in strategic decision-making, undermining the ability to respond quickly and effectively to evolving situations. The deteriorating medical care system has primarily affected soldier morale. On November 14th, dozens of wounded Russian troops from the 41st Combined Arms Army staged a riot in Novosibirsk, protesting inadequate medical treatment. This situation has been further exacerbated by several compounding challenges. A shortage of vehicles has led to delayed evacuations of the wounded, while increasing threats from UAVs have resulted in more severe injuries, making timely treatment more difficult. Additionally, the shortage of medical staff has diminished the quality of care, and a lack of essential equipment has contributed to higher mortality rates among soldiers. The Russian military medical system faces significant strain at all levels, essentially creating logistical problems that will likely persist for at least 3 months. The quality of the Russian troops has become an increasingly critical issue, significantly impacting discipline within the ranks. The composition of the military has shifted, with a growing reliance on various groups whose motivations and backgrounds differ widely from the traditional conscription model. Among the forces are mercenaries, who are primarily driven by the promise of financial gain, bringing a mercenary mindset that often clashes with the discipline expected from regular soldiers. Additionally, a significant portion of the ranks consists of prisoners who have been offered their freedom in exchange for military service, introducing a group with varied loyalties and a lack of commitment to the broader cause. Further complicating matters is the presence of conscripts who receive minimal training before being deployed, resulting in a lack of preparedness and expertise that hinders the effectiveness of operations. Alongside these groups, there are volunteers, drawn in by monetary rewards rather than a sense of patriotic duty or professional commitment, leading to a workforce that is more concerned with personal gain than with long-term strategic objectives. Formerly high support for the war has shown signs of decline, with official numbers indicating waning backing for military operations. The partial mobilization in September 2022 proved highly unpopular, causing many Russians, particularly those with means, to flee the country. The unwillingness to accept losses has prompted the Kremlin to minimize the war's impact on ethnic Russians, especially those near major cities. Putin's explicit statement on December 14, 2023, regarding the unnecessary nature of a second mobilization, underscores the fragility of public support. Internal military dissent has reached unprecedented levels, as exemplified by Major General Ivan Popov's public criticism of leadership. His complaints about inadequate counter-battery combat and artillery reconnaissance ultimately led to his dismissal. This incident reveals growing tensions between field commanders and senior military leadership, beforehand unprecedented in Russian military hierarchy. The situation has been complicated by the arrest of influential war critics and the removal of outspoken commanders. These actions demonstrate the Kremlin's limited tolerance for internal criticism, primarily affecting the military's ability to address operational shortcomings through proper channels. The power dynamics within the Kremlin have undergone substantial shifts as Russia grapples with internal challenges and military setbacks. Recent events, primarily the assassination of General Kirillov, have exposed underlying tensions in Russia's political establishment. Russia's civil-military relations are under unprecedented strain, with various factions within the Kremlin vying for influence. The current political landscape highlights several key pressure points, such as the interference of the FSB in military planning and increased political oversight over military operations, leading to growing tensions. At the same time, rivalries between different security agencies have intensified, and new competing power centers have emerged, complicating the political landscape. A notable shift has occurred in the relationship between President Putin and his military commanders, with the Russian president now personally approving certain military operations, effectively bypassing traditional command structures and consolidating decision-making power in his hands. The deterioration in military-civilian relations has also become increasingly evident. A deeper analysis of the situation reveals a fragmented command authority that has led to operational delays and a centralized decision-making process, which, while providing more control, has also reduced flexibility. The competition for control over resources has sparked supply chain issues, and compromised strategic planning has contributed to tactical failures, further weakening the effectiveness of military operations. Despite these challenges, Putin remains the central figure mediating between the competing factions, ensuring that no single group gains too much influence, thus maintaining a fragile balance. The issue of succession has gained prominence within Russian political circles, raising several critical concerns. There is a lack of clear succession mechanisms, and competition among potential successors is fierce. This has been further complicated by the inherent weakness in power transfer processes and the growing uncertainty among the elite about their future roles. The personalized nature of Putin's regime presents a challenge for elite groups, who must identify a common candidate to ensure a smooth transition. This issue is further compounded by three primary uncertainties: the stakes for elite members, the circle of permitted presidential candidates, and the shape of the electorate. The assassination of General Kirillov has intensified these dynamics, causing power brokers within the Kremlin to reassess their positions. While military defeats have not immediately destabilized the political situation, they have led to dissatisfaction within the ranks, undermining professional unity within the military. This situation highlights a broader crisis in Russian governance, as the Ministry of Defense remains focused on ensuring control over its troops through strict vertical loyalty and compliance. However, this approach has had negative consequences, leading to biased reporting, a rigid command structure, limited innovation, and reduced operational efficiency. The overall power dynamics in Russia suggest a system under increasing strain. Putin's method of maintaining stability through a delicate balance of competing factions faces new challenges, as the evolving political and military situation forces power brokers to carefully navigate between loyalty to the current regime and preparing for future transitions. The growing uncertainties surrounding the leadership transition and internal governance reflect the fragile state of Russia's political and military institutions. Global powers have responded swiftly to the assassination of General Kirillov, primarily viewing it as a significant escalation in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The international community's reaction underscores mounting concerns about Putin's increasingly vulnerable position within Russia's power structure. The United States has explicitly distanced itself from the assassination operation. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller stated unequivocally that the United States was not aware of it in advance and was not involved. The British government's response was notably direct, with the Prime Minister's spokesman stating they are not going to mourn the death of an individual who has propagated an illegal invasion. The European Union's stance remains resolute, as demonstrated through the continued implementation of restrictive measures, asset freezes targeting key Russian figures, travel bans affecting Russian officials, and suspension of visa facilitation agreements. The EU has expanded its support package, with total aid to Ukraine reaching approximately $278.00 billion. Essentially, this demonstrates the West's commitment to supporting Ukraine's defensive capabilities. International security cooperation has significantly intensified, with NATO playing a pivotal role in the region. The alliance has made strategic deployments, including the stationing of 4 battalions in Eastern Europe and 2 U.S. Army tank brigades in Poland. Additionally, the presence of U.S. troops has been expanded, now surpassing 100,000 personnel. This heightened coordination between international organizations has been further demonstrated by the EU's collaboration with the UN, OSCE, NATO, and G7. This multilateral approach has resulted in substantial support measures, with the United States alone contributing $75 billion in aid. The International Committee of the Red Cross has maintained a strong humanitarian presence, with more than 900 staff members working throughout Ukraine. Their efforts are focused on providing emergency services on the front lines, facilitating family reunifications through information sharing, visiting prisoners of war, with over 2,400 visits recorded, and continuously distributing humanitarian aid to those in need. The ongoing security challenges have fostered closer cooperation among Western allies, with the EU working in tandem with the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Norway, South Korea, and Australia. This cooperation extends to sanctions enforcement, as the Council has introduced new measures to criminalize violations of restrictive actions. Additionally, the international community's response to Russia's actions has been particularly focused on energy security. The EU has taken emergency measures to diversify energy supplies, secure gas reserves, reduce energy costs, and enhance solidarity mechanisms across member states. The impact on global markets has been considerable, with prices for key commodities experiencing significant volatility. This has prompted coordinated international efforts to stabilize markets and ensure the security of supply chains. In the wake of these developments, the assassination of General Kirillov has sparked renewed discussions about Ukraine's military capabilities. Western officials have become increasingly supportive of Ukraine's right to strike inside Russia, as long as the weapons used are of Ukrainian origin. This shift in perspective highlights a growing acknowledgement of Ukraine's enhanced military strength. On the humanitarian front, the EU has reaffirmed its commitment to Ukraine by continuing to provide political support, financial assistance, and enhanced humanitarian aid, while also strengthening its diplomatic backing. This comprehensive approach underscores the international community's resolve to maintain pressure on Russia while offering unwavering support for Ukraine's defense efforts. The ongoing cooperation among allies remains strong, with regular consultations occurring through established diplomatic channels to ensure coordinated action. The assassination of General Kirillov has exposed significant vulnerabilities in Putin's leadership, weakening Russian military effectiveness. Ukraine's growing military capabilities, supported by NATO and the EU, have shifted the conflict's dynamics, while Russia struggles with internal power struggles and dissent. Despite challenges, Putin maintains control, though the international community's response strengthens Ukraine's position. What do you think? Can Ukraine continue to challenge Russia's power? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next videos.